right, let's go to Berlin then and speak to our correspondent, Nick Spicer. Nick, what measures are being considered?
Well, there's a whole host of measures, and they'll be taken at an individual and state level. What I think was really, really remarkable about that speech, and I've covered Angela Merkel for a decade, it was by far the most emotional speech I've heard her make. It sounded like she was about to break into tears when she was telling Germans to imagine Christmas when they'd see Grandma and Grandpa for the last time because they hadn't been careful, warning them in very explicit terms of the risk they were possibly taking in not adopting the measures that were already in place. And she got quite personal at a certain point, saying, look, I grew up in the former East Germany where the government had lies as a matter of policy. That's why I probably ended up studying science, because you can't have an interpretation of the law of gravity or of the speed of light. Facts are facts. So she made an appeal as a scientist to people. She was answering a question from the far-right Alternative for Germany, anti-immigrant and anti-corona, it must be said. They think that corona is a conspiracy and the government is coming up with policies that aren't needed. And that's how she answered, with a lot of emotion and talking about her past, the need for science. And it's worth noting, and these are interesting numbers, that the cases of coronavirus are highest in the regions where the vote for the Alternative for Germany is highest.
And you mentioned there, Nick, that it's actually not Merkel, though, that makes the final decision here, is it, as to whether to impose stronger lockdowns, but it will be down to the regional governments?
You're right, and I'm sorry, I will answer your first question now, but I really didn't want to underline how remarkable that was. You couldn't quite hear it in that soundbite, and the headlines here in Germany are the most emotional speech Merkel has made. What it will come down to is decision-making between the 16 regional governments, and sometimes they don't fully cooperate well with each other. They're looking at new measures being taken during Christmas or after Christmas, and perhaps keeping kids at school, away from school, so studying once again through the internet with the virtual classrooms, and shutting down all kinds of shops. You won't be able to shop anymore, and that would, of course, be a big blow to the German economy, but it's things that Angela Merkel is asking people to consider. Lots of little measures, no Christmas markets, no more Glühwein on sale. That's mulled wine. It's on sale all over the Berlin streets as restaurants try to make ends meet. They're looking at all kinds of things, but it's not for tomorrow, and that is why Angela Merkel was so emotional today. She really feels that the clock is ticking.
All right, Nick Spicer in Berlin, thank you very much indeed.